Chapter 2, Brother. Interior, burger file, day. Distant sizzles entice each customer just within earshot as metal spatulas hit the flat top. Smells of fried potatoes tickle their nostrils as they line up to partake of the aroma. Dan and Chris have been seated in a booth near a window for about 20 minutes. Noise and conversations overlap, Dan having finished his meal a few moments prior. Dan drags a finger through a smear of mustard left behind on the paper liner of his burger, sketching a stick figure as his palm presses against his cheek with depression. "What's that, Dan?" Chris asks, trying to make out anything familiar about the drawing. "Hortense," Dan replies with a hefty sigh. Chris shields his burger from the groaning. "Can you breathe the other way, Dan? I don't want depression getting in my burger." "You should be more sympathetic toward my plight, Chris. If it weren't for Jeremiah, I'd be living in a suburban castle with Hortense as my burger queen." Dan feels himself getting frustrated just talking about it. Of course, BurgerFile always makes him think of Hortense. "What does she even see in him?" Dan continues as Chris takes a sip of his soft drink. "He's way too old for her." "Honestly, Dan," Chris begins with a gulp, "if you ask me, she was too young for you, but she made you smile, so I didn't care." "Hey, she's legal," Dan barks. "Barely legal, Dan. I think there's a category for that on one of those websites if that says anything. It's already been a year since the incident. Can't you forget about her?" "Don't say incident like it was a big deal," Dan replies, aggressive finger quotes poised in the air. "All I did was crash what was most likely a shotgun wedding." "And sent her fiancé to the hospital." "Yeah, well, I'm sure inhaling burgers isn't exactly a cardio routine. Besides, I'll forget about Hortense just as soon as you forget about Elise," he continues, finger daringly pointed at Chris. "Forget Elise, Dan," Chris replies unamused. "This may come as a shock to you, but my wife lives with me." "Great, you've already identified the root problem. Let's start there." "Dan, fine. Speaking of inhaling burgers, can we go now?" Dan whines, his foot tapping an impatient rhythm. "That's like your third burger." What's the rush?" Chris asks, crumbs falling to the table as he chews. "What's the rush?" Dan exclaims. "We need to find who stole my money." Dan slides down in his seat, peering around at the masticating patrons whose attention he's called. "Relax, Dan. The woman said they'll investigate and you'll have your money in 30 days at the most. We've got time." "But the rent is due today." "You know, buddy," Dan continues with eyes aflutter, "if I get evicted, I'll have to move in with you and that succubus you keep around the house. Your move, Magnus." Magnus?" Chris questions with an arched brow, mouth full of beef. "Magnus Carlsen?" Dan replies, his tilted head resting in his hand. "The Norwegian chess player who holds the current highest elo? Don't you know anything? Am I moving in or not?" Chris ceases his chewing and stares blankly in the air, imagining the catastrophes that could occur as a result of Dan taking residence. He can almost hear the fires, explosions, sirens, and shattering glass. Let's go talk to Elise." Chris pivots. He takes one final bite of his now half-eaten burger, wipes his mouth, a sip of his soft drink, and the two head out. Interior, Chris and Elise's home, day. The trio is sat down in the kitchen, Elise typing away on her laptop and Chris shoving down a ham and cheese sandwich. Dan watches Chris's chewing. "Didn't you just eat?" he asks, head critically tilted at him. "Well, I didn't get to finish," Chris replies in embarrassment. With one loud and decisive peck of the keyboard, Elise's typing ceases. "All right, Dan," she calls. "I'm in the bank system. What's your account info?" "I am not giving you my account information, woman." "Then how am I supposed to—" Elise sighs. "How am I supposed to find your money if I have nothing to go on?" Dan leans forward across the small circular oakwood table in a confrontational stance. "For all I know, you stole it, Elise," Dan suggests, finger just centimeters from her nose. Elise shoves Dan's hand aside. "Oh, trust me, you're the last person I'd want to steal money from. Worst case scenario, worst case, you end up living here." Elise, shocked at the words that escaped her lips, stares blankly in the air, imagining the catastrophes that could occur as a result of Dan taking residence. She can almost hear the fires, explosions, sirens, and shattering glass. Dan interrupts her daze, plopping back down in his seat. "Well then, why don't you loan me the money this month, then I'll borrow the money from Chris and pay you back. Chris, give me your wallet." "Dan, that makes no sense. You know what's mine is hers, Chris insists, his words muffled by a mess of bread and mayo. Elise lovingly smirks at Chris.
Aw, and what's mine is yours.
Chris now leans across the table and wipes his mouth, going in for a kiss.
Wouldn't have it any other way,
he says, planting a wet one on her lips with an audible mwah, Dan rolling his eyes with folded arms before the corners of his mouth bend to a scheming smile.
Oh, hey, that's actually perfect,
Dan says with wide-eyed ironic excitement.
If what's Chris's is yours and I'm his best friend, that means I'm your friend, and friends help each other out, right?
Dan drops the sarcasm with a half-lidded stare as he reaches his hand toward Elise.
Give me your wallet,
he says with dry demand. Elise, exasperated by Dan's nonsense, places her hand on her forehead.
No, Dan, I can't loan you money. We still need to pay for yet another hole you put in the roof the other day, remember?
Her hand sweeps toward a poorly patched hole in the living room ceiling as a sheet of roofing falls to the floor with a snap.
Unnecessary casualty in the name of justice,
Dan nonchalantly replies.
Dan,
Elise begins.
Don't you have like a family member you can bother for money or move far, far away to live with? Well, you know my grandma passed away last year, and then there's my mom and my brother, but I hate both of them.
Elise shuts her laptop lid, signaling that she's a bit more invested in what Dan has to say.
Wait, you've told me about your mom, but what's the beef with your brother? He thinks I look like him. Dan!
Chris shides.
He's your brother. Of course you look. I don't look like him.
Dan scolds, his neck stretching intently toward Chris.
But I guess we are the same age,
he continues.
Dan, this is ridiculous,
Elise says.
We're going to find your brother and you're going to ask him for help or no Chris for 6 months.
Dan's brows curved to upward arches, mouth slightly gaped with disbelief, creating a similar expression to that of a child who's lost their puppy.
That's a low blow, Elise. Even for you,
he says with brief sadness in his voice.
Fine,
he concedes. Chris's glance shifts to Elise while slouched back in his chair.
Seriously, why do I never get a say in these things?
He pitifully questions.
Dan?
Elise calls.
What's your brother's name?
He mumbles.
What? Speak up,
Elise demands in frustration.
Adam, okay? I don't like saying his stupid name.
Elise says as she resumes typing on her laptop, eyes tensed to a focus.
Besides, how do you expect to find him?
Dan continues.
My brother is crafty and Adam is a very common name. Found him,
Elise advises.
I've hacked into the Vital Records platform and there's only one Adam in the greater Los Angeles area who's the same age as you. There's no photo here, but there is demographic info. We could be there in 20 minutes. Chris, grab the keys. Wait, you guys?
Dan whines as he scoots from his chair, preparing to head out.
Can we go to my apartment first? I've got to feed Mr. Mumbles.
And this concludes Chapter 2, Brother.